Welcome to Chapter 17. So, once again, this is the single hardest, single longest, single worst RNG map in the entire game. And it's what we've been building up to this whole time. Once this chapter is over and done with, it's basically just smooth sailing at this point. And there's like simultaneously a lot to talk about in this map and not a lot. I'm basically just going to be describing what's happening as it's happening, so my commentary here is going to be very on the nose, and I'll just be talking about why it all sucks, basically. And to start it off, this chapter sucks because we start in the middle of fucking nowhere, like usual, so we first have to actually approach the enemy, and that's more difficult than you'd expect because they put dudes in every fucking corner of this map. Like, on the left, there's a line of tetras and then two ladybugs behind it on bases. On the right side is even worse. It's water, so you can only get there by flying, and then there's two cicadas and a mantis, all which have anti-air weaponry. Dick move, guys. Thank you. And then even worse is the entire center, which is just this gauntlet of motherfuckers. And this is a kill everything chapter, so we need to go through all this stuff in order to actually even complete the chapter. And just as difficult is surviving any of this shit. Like, basically everything we bought at the start of this chapter was just to either barely secure KOs or to actually survive the onslaught of this chapter. So Yamato's gonna take out this pillbug because he is literally the only person who can actually kill them. I think maybe Blade can and maybe Akane can, but they're both super occupied with their own shit in this chapter. So the only person we can rely on is Yamato. And his job in the beginning of this chapter is just to kill those guys and do nothing else. Sakuma is going to deploy Raphael here, and we're also going to move Tsubasa up because she needs to do a couple things in this chapter as well. And then we're going to have Janie move all the way into the middle of everything, and then Spider Thread Sakuma also into the middle of everything, which is an equally as compromising position. And then we're going to put Minoro here too, as well as Blade. And you might think that's really fucking stupid, and that's because it is. It's a terrible strategy, but I'm also pretty confident that's the best we can possibly do. Also, Akane needs the turret scope in order to take out that Tetra without a card, because we really need some extra cards in this chapter that we just can't have, so we have to take a lot of liberties with spending money. First and foremost because, like, this is the single spot where we needed to give Sakuma 7 levels worth of HP in defense, because every single enemy ladybug in this chapter has their own Mantis Touch card, and with all the upgrades we bought, we can only barely survive any of these. And if I mess up that minigame, like, I'm fucked, like, game over. Also very important here, that Locust has a very good chance of not doing what he's supposed to. You saw him behave there. He attacked Sakuma for peanuts and then went hit in the snail. So next turn when Raphael kills that snail, the Locust will just die too. You saw Ganbei here. He counterattacked that cicada and killed it instantly. He needs the turret scope to actually secure the KO, and he needs the energy tank 120 that we gave him to survive in the first place. And now you're going to use Backbone Shell to actually survive the hit from the second cicada. Even though we only have 48 HP and he has a type advantage on us, it works out because it's like a damage calculation thing. Like, that ×2 effective bonus is only applied at the very end. So if we block all the damage up front, like just normally, then the ×2 doesn't really affect us much. Also, that snail took a pot shot at Minoro, and that's one of the reasons why we had to upgrade from the Missiles 3 to Gigapsuka, because if you remember, or maybe you hadn't noticed, but the Missiles Town 3 actually gives him like negative 140 HP, and we need him to actually survive that snail shot, and he can't do that with the missiles consistently. And I swear to God, Janie has like a 0.5% chance to die there without that energy tank 120, so we give her that as well, just so she doesn't die. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have Minoro start taking out these ladybugs in the middle, so Sakuma won't die. These ladybugs actually are going to evade as well, and they have like, let's say like a 5% chance to dodge completely, but since we have to do it twice in this chapter, there's a pretty good chance we have to reset. Also because I usually end up doing this chapter like 10 times every time I get to it, just because I get fucked by RNG. The main like RNG, like the main thing in this level with RNG is these spiders. So they love to dodge Blade, and Blade has the unfortunate job of having to take care of all 3 of these spiders and that Locust almost by himself. And we run into a lot of problems with the spiders just not dying for no reason. As well as like their AI being just an unbelievable brat. Hopefully I get to that in a few minutes. So we did that. Blade can't really advance to the spiders because he can't get over the rocks with his shitty tires in 3 movements. So we have Sakuma just pick him up and throw him. As I mentioned, Raphael here is going to use Bee Sting to kill this snail. With the Energy Tank 160, he has just enough HP in order to do this. And again, he takes out the Locust inside, which is really handy. Next up is Akane on the left. She is going to advance forward and take out the first of the 2 ladybugs using a Skimmer Rage. Notably, I'm not actually going to win this minigame. I absolutely need a Skimmer Rage to secure the KO on this ladybug, but I don't need to win it, actually, so I'm just not going to bother. And the number one reason why I'm doing that is because after doing this chapter like 10 times every time, my wrist fucking hurts. So, fuck you and your rapid tapping. Also, she needs her Energy Tank 160 in order to survive the Mantis Touch boosted hit from the other ladybug. And now Ganbei is just going to move forward and he's going to heal himself using Morpho Dance so he can counterattack the other cicada. And probably the 2 single most important turns in this turn. Janie is going to move all the way down to the left side and she's going to use the Cicada Song, and she basically kamikazes and blows up everyone around her. So Cicada Song is Termite Army, but actually decent. It's way better in every way. 5 square radius, way more damage. The only drawback is that obviously the person who uses it blows up. And fortunately, the trade-off here is that we either can use Janie to help play with the spiders, or we can just have her use Cicada Song and then damage the Locust and all the spiders. And also Tsubasa moved to that very specific spot right below that rock tile. And that's going to serve a retardedly important function later on, but first and foremost, it lets Yamato take her spot below the Pillbug so he can kill it with Beetlehorn. Okay. So now Akane's gonna survive this ladybug. Blade's gonna fight some spiders. Ganbei's gonna fight that cicada, and Raphael's gonna fight this ant. Raphael's only got 2 jobs this chapter, and that's to kill the snail and then fight that ant. That's all he's gonna do. I guess really quickly, there are actually 2 capsules in this chapter, but we're actually never going to pick up another capsule in the entire game. I'm pretty sure this chapter's got like a weapon upgrade for Raphael and Tri-Tetra, and we don't need either. So, okay, so the thing with these spiders is, not only do they love it to avoid Blade, but if we do too much damage to them, and then they're not dead and it's their turn, they'll actually just run the fuck away. And that is so fucking annoying. I can't even like communicate that to you. It's the worst possible scenario because Blade, like with his tires and 3 movement, he literally cannot catch up to them. Like it's game over. We'd have to move people from every corner of the map to come and help him kill these fucking spiders. On top of that, the Locust does the same thing just by default, just because he can attack him and then run away. But thankfully with Cicada Song, Blade can now one-hit KO that Locust on counterattack, so we don't run into a problem with him. Still though, it means we have to be very careful with dealing with those spiders, and we specifically didn't hit one of them with Cicada Song just so he wouldn't run away when we didn't need him to. But that looks like we're about to wrap up Chapter 17. We're just kind of cleaning up everything. The thing I haven't mentioned yet, which is really the biggest kick in the nuts in the entire game, is that after we kill everything in this chapter, at the very bottom of the map where we started and where no one is, like it's the only spot where no one is in the entire map, there are 7 enemy reinforcements that just show up out of the blue. And we have to kill all of them before the chapter ends. And it's the only time in this game that reinforcements have that big of an impact. It happens occasionally, but it's always just like for story reasons. But this is the one time. This is the one time where they use it to kick us in the nuts. Okay, so we're gonna just counterattack this spider and this locust, and then on our next phase, we're going to use Minero and Blade to finish off the spider, and then the 7 reinforcements will show up just in the middle of everything. And you might notice that the only person we have going towards the bottom where all these reinforcements are supposed to spawn is Yamato. And as much as I absolutely hate Chapter 17, I absolutely love fighting the reinforcements in this chapter because it's unbelievably satisfying. So Shoya shows up with all these fuckers. So there's 2 butterflies, 2 bees, and 2 fireflies, which are probably the 3 single most annoying enemy types in the entire fucking game. We have to kill all of them with just Yamato. So we gave him that anti-air horn, and that's really important. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to move specifically to the right of Shoya, and then hit him with Beetle Horn, and that'll instantly kill him. Now, I gotta talk about Tsubasa for a second, because she hasn't really done anything in this map, but she's actually filling the single most important role. So she took damage from that pill bug and is wounded, and now she's in that very specific spot. And I mentioned way back in Chapter 7 when Minero melee attacked Shoya for 0 damage that this game has problems when it comes to deciding between melee and guns, and will often just melee for no reason. And that's actually how we're going to kill one of these butterflies. He's just going to come over and melee attack us. The real problem here is the fireflies. We can deal with these bees, no problem. The fireflies, though, they want to stay out of our range because they want to like use their cannons and shit. But also because they're just like annoying. The thing is, though, is they actually want to kill Tsubasa, and they want to put Tsubasa at the very edge of their cannon range. It just so happens that the spot they want to be in is right next to Yamato. And so then they move to the spot next to Yamato, and the game checks to see if there's anything else they can do while they're there, and the game's like, yeah, you can attack this guy. So they attack this guy, and then the game fucks up and makes them melee attack instead of using their guns, and so I can just counterattack them for free. And just take them out of the picture. And we move over to this butterfly on our next turn, and then the bee will come and attack us and we counter him, and that's Chapter 7 in 7 fucking turns. The first time this happened, I did it by accident, and I basically just shit in my pants. I could not believe that I beat this chapter in 7 turns. I still cannot believe I beat the chapter in 7 turns. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Jesus Christ. So some shit's happening in the background here. That's really important. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. I'm gonna talk about it next chapter. Chapter 17. So it's, like I said, it's basically like we're home free at this point. That was the worst of it. In fact, Chapter 18 is my favorite chapter in the whole game. And part of the reason why it's my favorite chapter in the whole game is because we're done with Chapter 17. On that note, fuck Chapter 17!